Okay. Hey! I may have pressed the wrong button. Hey! Hey, over there. Hey, over there. What are you doing over there? Come closer. Come closer. Hey!
Hola.
Hola! Hola! Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ice Cream Upload studio. We're still not quite where we want to be because of COVID. Obviously, we need to keep away from each other. So we still have the main studio desk over there, but we are in the studio for the scoop for the first time in about 6-7 months.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Whew, whew. New things, new things. Welcome in, everyone. If you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved in the chat. And if you don't know who we are, we can do this as well. Watch. Hey!
At least that's still working.
Hey, if you're listening on demand, we have nameplates on screen. Yeah. And when it says at least that was still working, we haven't touched this for months. We've used the studio for a few different things, and we had it for the Launch Day Cup last week. But in terms of the scoop, anyone that streams will know that when you come to setting up your stream setup, be it in OBS, be it in Streamlabs, be it in vMix, whatever it is, just because it works today doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow. So the fact that we did this months and months ago and it all still works is great. Yeah,
Fantastic.
but if you are live, for those of you who don't know, as mentioned, I'm going to show you again. My name is Graham. This is the man that we call Bibby, and we together are part of the Ice Cream team. Ice Cream uploads in true ice cream fashion. This is the scoop, your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. And we have a lot of big news for you today. I mean, obviously, we've been focusing on PS5 for the last few days because it's all been PS5. But the script, that's the word I was looking for. Got there eventually. The script got flicked. Flicked? My God. The script was flipped. There we go. Got there eventually. Yesterday by Xbox, but we will jump into that shortly. We're not going to do that just yet. Just going to give you a bit of an update of who we are, what this is. This is the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. And we're going to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. So like Chucky, good morning, Chucky. If you are live in the chat, please feel free to drop your comments and messages in there. And it's important that you do because we turn this into a video that goes out on YouTube and a podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Lots of on-demand sources that everyone can listen to later on, but they don't get involved right here, right now, live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Upload. So if you were in the chat, use the opportunity to get involved, as Chucky just has. So big news, Bib.
Very big news.
Big news. Do you know, let's jump straight in. Usually we'd have a bit of a chinwag about what we've been doing and whatever, and yeah, but do you know what? Straight into the news. I say straight into the news. Hopefully, straight into the news. Hopefully we can get this working. Ooh, drum roll, will the news appear on screen? Yeah! Hey!
Great style.
Nice. So Tom Ivan for VGC says, Microsoft is acquiring Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom owner Bethesda Softworks. Xbox maker purchasing Bethesda parent company ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion. Whew!
Wait, in cash?
I know. I heard that. Like, what was it? I don't know if I read it or something, and I was like, surely it can't be cash. 7.5 billion in cash.
Yeah.
Absolute suitcase.
Yeah. Usually with deals like this, you would expect them to be in installments, so they'd buy like one IP, then another IP, and they'd pay it over a certain amount of time or based on how many games are being dispatched. However, this motherfucker come in with cash.
7.5 billion is an amount of money that you can't even imagine. You can't compute the space that would take. Like, I mean, not that it would be endless, but it's just like, it's so big that you can't consider what it would be. And they've just gone, yeah, have that. I'll just whip it out of my pocket. So jump back in. So Microsoft announced that it's set to acquire ZeniMax Media and its game publisher Bethesda Softworks for $7.5 billion in cash. Employing some 2,300 staff worldwide, Bethesda Softworks studios include Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. Their development team is responsible for franchises, including, you might not have heard this, Bib, The Elder Scrolls. It's a game that I don't know if you... No, okay, you've heard of it. Bibby has all of the copies of Elder Scrolls that have ever been printed. They are the development team responsible for franchises including The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, and Quake, amongst others. The move will see Xbox Game Studios grow from 15 to 23 development teams, while Bethesda's franchises will be added to Xbox Game Pass, which has reached a new milestone of 15 million subscribers, according to Microsoft. More on that later. id Software co-founder John Carmack welcomed the news and suggested it could see him once again work with the studio he co-founded. Xbox boss Phil Spencer said he will honour PS5 exclusivity agreements for Deathloop, Arcade Studios, and Ghostwire Tokyo, Tango Gameworks, while ZeniMax Online has claimed that The Elder Scrolls Online will continue to be supported exactly as it was on current platforms. Xbox boss... I can't see all these tweets because, cookies and that, but there you go, tweets embedded. Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in a blog post, "Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with the creative leaders at Bethesda on the future of gaming. We've long shared similar visions for the opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games, some announced and many unannounced, to Xbox console and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios. Like us, Bethesda are passionate believers in building a diverse array of creative experiences, in exploring new game franchises, and in telling stories in bold ways. All of their great work will, of course, continue and grow, and we look forward to empowering them with the resources and support of Microsoft to scale their creative visions to more players in new ways for you." We'll wrap this up just so we can jump into our thoughts, but finally Bethesda's comments on it from Todd Howard, who oversees development of the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, also discussed the acquisitions in a separate blog post. In it, he called Microsoft Bethesda's longest and closest partner during his career. He added, "We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games, in their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy, and a belief we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, or what you play on, regardless of the screen size of the controller or your ability to even use one. We can't think of a better group of people to do that than those at Xbox." Microsoft expects to complete the acquisition in the second half of its current business year, ending June 2021. Its CEO, Satya Nadella, said, "Gaming is the most expansive category in the entertainment industry as people everywhere turn to gaming to connect, socialise and play with their friends. Quality, differentiated content is the engine behind the growth and value of Xbox Game Pass. From Minecraft to Flight Simulator, as a proven game developer and publisher, Bethesda has seen success across every category of games, and together we will further our ambition to empower the more than 3 billion gamers worldwide." Whew. What a story.
What a story.
$7.5 billion. To give some perspective on that, I believe Minecraft, which is one of the most valuable IPs that has ever existed, one of the most top-selling games of all time. It's like top 3, is it, Minecraft, I think? Up there anyway. That is ridiculous. Minecraft sold for like 2.5 billion, something like that. This is 3 times the size of the money. I mean, I said Minecraft, that was Mojang. Obviously, they only really have one title, whereas Bethesda has multiple titles, but it's still 3 times the size of that acquisition, which is ridiculous. I mean, the only thing that I can think of that comes close to that is Active Blizzard. I mean, but that was more a merger of sorts rather than one purchase by another powerhouse. You are mine now. It's like, imagine... Yeah, I don't know. I can't even put it into words. What are your thoughts, babe?
Well, it's 7.5 billion, but I'd like to know what the value each of the games are, each of the IPs coming forward, because obviously Elder Scrolls Online, using that as an example, is a MMO game that you can buy expansions for, very much the same model as what World of Warcraft is, and that is, again, I don't want to say a multi-billion, but it would easily be in the tens of millions for what the IP is worth, again, with the business model of a monthly subscription, the expansion packs that come alongside it, all the in-game currency that you can buy. So Elder Scrolls will be churning a massive amount of money, especially the online element. That's not to say that obviously what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be hotly anticipated. They're still churning out Skyrim left, right and centre. Ask my games collection and my bookshelves. So it's not as if that IP is dwindling, but the likes of The Evil Within 2 that came out, I don't think it did as well as the first one. However, I think it was received a little bit better than the first one. Again, Prey didn't do anywhere close to the numbers which I think they anticipated when that came out. Starfield, to be fair, I've never even played it. Doom didn't have the prestige that it used to have. However, it's doing really, really well again now after they brought out the last three games, shall we say. Yeah, Doom Eternal. Is it 2 games? Doom and Doom Eternal?
Doom Eternal,
yeah. So Doom 2016 and then Doom Eternal, they've both been received extremely well, sold really well. Fallout, that's a dwindling one, I think. After the Fallout 76 fiasco, Fallout 4 was a fantastic game. Fallout 3, fantastic game. New Vegas, fantastic game. So they've still got a lot of oomph when it comes to the Fallout series, but 76 obviously had a turbulent time at the moment, so I imagine it's probably not worth as much as it once was. However, the business model that they have with it being an MMO, so it's got live currency, it's a live service game, that's the word I'm looking for. Well done, Graham. So it's a live service game that can always churn money, again with expansions and things. Dishonored, again, a good game, received quite well. Wolfenstein, 3 games out, I think now. Wolfenstein's been going since the dawn of time. I remember playing that on like my PS2 and PS1, and I think it was one of the games that actually give life to the first person shooter games anyway. So again, historic franchises that are worth a lot of money, but I'd like to know how much they paid for each one, because how to get to 7.5 billion, they'll need to take into account of what they've got coming up. Obviously, we know there's going to be an Elder Scrolls 6 for a start, but what does that leave for Fallout? What does it leave for Doom? Because surely they're not going to pay $7.5 billion for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like you run through those games, and I know obviously what I'm about to say is massively subjective. You run through that list of games, and there are massive games there, but not necessarily market leaders. That's probably shit phrasing, just bear with me what I say. So you've got Doom, which had its heyday 20 years ago, and then came back with a bang finally this year. It was the first game in a long time that's really pushed first person genres, according to like media reviews. Really good game, really solid, grew on what 2016's Doom offered and pushed the landscape further. But because 2016 was a good game, not a great game. This is like essentially the latest one's a great game, but with everything that's kind of gone with it, the whole branding isn't up there it's not on par with the Halos and the Ghost of Tsushima. It's not up there. It's not on that level yet. So then you've got Fallout, which is a game that isn't necessarily as widely spread as other games out there. Kind of like Doom in the same sense. So basically what I'm saying is they have games that are top tier, but not god tier. Like, so if you get those like rank list A B C D E F top and god, these are all top tier games, but they're not necessarily god tier games. Could Microsoft be the thing that pushes them up there? Because Microsoft is saying, okay, you've got just those that you went through. I would probably say Fallout and Doom for me are kind of their top ones. Obviously Elder Scrolls for most other people will be up there as well. Then you kind of get Elder Scrolls, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, then Evil Within, Prey and Starfield. That's kind of lost on me, so that could be anywhere in that list for me. So all big brands, not necessarily the ones that get the headline column inches. When E3 happens, boom, it's going to be talking about The Last of Us 2 or Halo looking like a potato, or Halo looking amazing. They're not going to be leading with one of those games.
For me, when the Elder Scrolls 6 eventually gets teased, I think it will flood everyone's timelines, regardless. Like, I just think it will be absolutely everywhere. Everyone's been waiting for a new Elder Scrolls game that isn't the online one, because I know people who are extremely fascinated with the Elder Scrolls universe but don't want to play an MMO, so they won't have any of that, because it plays completely different. If you played an Elder Scrolls game and then you played an MMO, they're two completely different things. It's just all the elements of the Elder Scrolls world that's within the MMO stuff, but eventually, when the Elder Scrolls 6 hits, you will not be able to get away from that game. Anybody, I don't know if there's anybody in the chat that actually plays the Elder Scrolls games, but if you are an Elder Scrolls fan, you're either in it for the long run, or you're probably never going to play it. Because the game is so long and there's so much to do in there, it literally aims for a very small, minute target audience. However, once they've got you, that's it. Like, I'm in for life now. After playing Morrowind way back when, I'm in for life.
I mean, he's bought it on 27 different platforms.
But it's the same with Fallout as well. The Fallout 76 I was excited for, and then the shitstorm that came alongside it hasn't interested me one bit. But when they eventually come to bring out a new Fallout game, I'm right back in again.
I mean, you kind of wonder, like, is 7.5 billion a stupid sum, or is it a good price? And the reason I say that is, I mean, it's a stupid sum for us, but is it a stupid sum or is it a good price? Because Fallout was, before 76, Fallout was an absolutely loved brand. It had done nothing wrong in the games industry. Yeah, it probably had, but in the grand sense, some games are like, yeah, this is perfect, this is loved, and obviously the more iterations, the more chances you have of doing something wrong, something to upset, or releasing a shit unfinished game. And Fallout obviously ticked a few of those boxes. They've fixed a lot of it since then, but we were talking about the game wasn't right. They were having the updates that were announced at E3 last year, and then that was delayed, but then they still managed to open their private servers and take money off you for a game that wasn't finished, and so many missteps there. So would this 7.5 billion been 10 billion if Fallout hadn't have been poor, if Doom hadn't have been massively delayed? So rewind a year, we were talking about how, about 10 months, we were talking about how Bethesda just couldn't catch a break. They had the right messaging at E3, but Doom had been delayed. It was supposed to come out in October. It didn't come out until March, April, whenever it was. Whilst that was happening, the Fallout, was it the Wastelanders update had been delayed, and they'd messed up all the other things as well. So would all of that bad press, because this isn't something that has just been signed, could this have been a £10 billion deal? Potentially.
Maybe. I think the small... Fallout has a lot of ground to cover eventually when they bring out a new game. That's not Fallout 76. I think they've got a lot to be able to try and entice people back. I mean, I'm going to buy it regardless. A new Fallout game eventually when it arrives. Same with the Elder Scrolls. However, I think their smoking gun is the fact that it's now going to be part of Games Pass. Like, it's going to be a first party game. These are going to be games that are going to be straight into Game Pass on day one, which is something that they have historically, like over the last 2 years that we've had Games Pass. Every single first party game that they've had, whether or not it be Halo or Gears of War, has gone straight in, so people have been able to get it day one. Whether or not that will try and entice people to get their money to sign up to Games Pass and eventually get their money back after a certain amount of time. Like, let's be honest, they're going to be selling these consoles at a loss. Maybe not the digital one, but the top one, they're probably going to be selling it as a loss, but they're expecting software to bring them back to that. If in a couple of years' time these games, some of these franchises become Xbox only, and the only way that you can play them is on your PC via Games Pass or via Xbox, then they will make their money back pretty quick, I imagine. But I think that is their smoking gun. I think that's what they've gone for. There's a lot of titles. I mean, even I haven't seen a Quake game get made in 10 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. No one's played or even come across a Quake game in probably the last 10 years.
I mean, Steve, who used to do our studios, probably played it every other day. He was a European champion at Quake. There's a fact for you.
But I mean, Quake back in the day, like when I was in school 15 years ago, there were times if I wasn't playing football and it was just pissing it down, I was in the IT suite and I was playing Quake. I was playing Unreal Tournament. These are the games that you would have LAN matches with your friends in the IT suite. However, that's 15 years ago. No one's playing Quake anymore. Are they going to try and reboot Quake to be an esports game right off the bat and not have a single player campaign and just go, do you remember Quake? Do you remember how fucking sick Quake was? Here's a fucking sick Quake. And then you're going in and playing it. Will that make millions of dollars? Probably not, but it will cater to an audience.
It could do. I mean, if they reboot that entirely and give it an esports vibe to the point of, like, it's got a USP or a niche. Like CS:GO it's not the best looking game in the world, but the super high tick rate on the servers and the pinpoint controls means it's one of the best esports experiences out there, despite being so simplistic. Yeah. And you can play effectively CS:GO in pretty much every other first-person shooter out there. Search and Destroy is pretty much it.
You can play it on a bag of shit computer as well.
That's it. You don't necessarily have to have a top spec computer. It's just really simple, really well made, really good quality. So if they could essentially, if CS:GO can do it, Quake could do it. And Quake has been gone long enough for it to be a new title for most. Most of these kids don't know. They don't know. They weren't on the streets. So most of these kids won't know. I'd say these kids, younger gamers, younger audiences won't know what Quake is.
My brother wouldn't have known. He's 15 in January. Yeah, he will have no idea how big Quake and Unreal Tournament was. No idea.
So that's a massive new game, brand new, but not new. But then the older guard are kind of like, well, I know Quake. I used to play Quake anyway. So it's a game that could be reinvented. And I think that's kind of where the magic is for Microsoft. Microsoft have not just bought Bethesda for Doom and Fallout and Elder Scrolls, because they're there already. What they have done is bought the other titles as well, that gives them the opportunity to make something new and bespoke. That my thought though is talking around exclusivity. There was a comment. Good morning, everyone. By the way,
this is a deep topic. I apologise if we've skipped past your comments.
I mean, I'll scroll back up through. I did see Gaming Hub 24/7 Gaming Hub says I like this news.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sumner says morning lads, and then Scotty says anyone managed to bag a Series X this fine morning. We'll jump onto that in a little bit, but
Jake will know. They're like the IT suite. They used to be able to. I'm sure it was like the password was James Bond, and then so the username was James Bond, and the password was like 007 in the IT suite. You'd go up, you'd sign in with that, and then you'd have a full collection of games that was only available on that username. And like Unreal Tournament was there, Quake was there. What was the other game that everyone used to absolutely ramsack? I can't remember what it was, but there was like 3 or 4 games that people would just go into the IT suite and be able to go and play these games. So
at least you had that. We went to the IT suite and all we had was like crap. Like we had a proper like computer room, but there was basically that's just for education only. Yeah. And then we had like little crappy Amstrad's kind of old things that could run Lemmings, and that was it.
Fucking Lemmings was such a sick game.
We spent
I had that
like
with SNES
forever. Lemmings and a knockoff Bomberman. It was like Bomber Jim or something like that. It wasn't, but it was one of those like when you see Robot Cop, the fake RoboCop kind of thing. It was like that Triassic Park. Yeah. It was that sort of Bomberman. It was exactly the same game, but just didn't look as good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, jump back in comments. Asim says great deal for Microsoft. They won't go exclusive either. Some content might, just like Minecraft. It goes against their /Phil's ethos, and they'll want to make ridiculous amounts via software sales. That's the thing. I mean, one of the comments that I said to Mark when we were talking about in the office upstairs is, if they don't go all of market, they are cutting off. If we stay the 2-to-1 ratio, let's say that's what the next gen starts at. PlayStation 4 sold 2 times as many as Xbox roughly. So PlayStation has 66% of the market. Microsoft has 33%. If they don't put those any future releases onto PlayStation, then they are losing 66% potential install base. But what they get with that, the offset is the longer that goes for, that 66% could come down whilst the other goes up to get more of a balance then. So it's okay, we're not selling to 66% of the market, so we are losing money in Bethesda, but we are selling more consoles, so we're earning money back through Microsoft. So it's how do they play that? As a business like Microsoft, you'd kind of think, okay, keep your cards to your chest. If you just think of businessly, it's like, we own this now. You're not playing this ever again. This is mine. Suckers!
Yeah.
But that goes against everything that Phil Spencer has been saying in terms of console exclusivities, and having games being exclusive is bad for consumers. So
if that's the case, then they need to take the likes of Gears of War and Halo and make it compatible for everyone.
I mean, kind of. If you're making something yourself, then that's a little bit different. But that's where the grey area is in there. If they're buying Bethesda, who haven't made anything yet, and it's owned by them, if they make it, are they allowed to just make it for themselves then? Because I mean, the same thing with Sony buying Insomniac Games, making Spider-Man just for PlayStation. That's Insomniac did make. They made, what was it they made before? Was it Infamous, which was obviously PlayStation? But did they do multi-platform games before them? Whatever. Anyway, Sony buying a studio and then owning that studio and making games just for themselves, it would be the same. Microsoft, in all rights, could do that for themselves. This is our game, we can do this, but Bethesda have been making whole of market properties for their entirety, and for Microsoft to come and buy those and stop making games for the market would be anti-consumer from the sense of that's. I wouldn't have an issue with it. If you buy it, you buy it. That's the game that you play. You buy studios to make your products for yourself, and you're better. That's the whole point of owning studios. But from the messaging standpoint, it would be a bit like, but you just said exclusives. So it's an exclusive if someone else releases it, but if you're releasing it, it's not an exclusive, even though they were gonna.
They also could just charge Sony through the arse to be able to try and bring these games over there. But I think what they're saying is, if you don't have an Xbox in your household, but you have a PC, pay £8 a month. Bosh, but we'll bring Bibby in because he's obviously going to want Xbox Game Pass for PC to be able to play the new Wolfenstein, the new Fallout, the new Elder Scrolls. That's an absolute no-brainer for him. But for the majority of people, I'm very interested to see where this goes. It says, when did they say the deal was going to be commissioned? The middle of next.
21.
Yeah, July 21. So it's not even going to come into effect until next year. We're not going to see a new Elder Scrolls for the next 2 or 3 years. So,
things might change in that sort of time frame. I'll just jump through the rest of the comments so we can catch up. Asim says, funny that they'll be releasing a couple of timed PS5 exclusives.
Yeah, still got a few in the bag.
Exactly. So that's what I'm kind of jumping on to say then. In terms of, it's funny that, like, things will change over time, and that being. Now they don't own it yet. It's still not finalised. Technically, even though they've announced it, it could still fall through. It probably won't, but it could still fall through. And until it's fully commissioned, signed on the dotted line, and traded over, Bethesda will still be trying to make that deal happen and looking out for the future. So building relationships and setting things in place with Xbox. But they also, for now, won't be burning their bridges with Sony. So yeah, it is kind of an interesting situation. So Tokyo, was it?
Ghostwire.
Yeah. And Deathloop.
Yeah.
So those
Deathloop looks fun.
Ghostwire Tokyo. That's it.
This is going to be a really shitty comment to make, but both of those Deathloop looks like something I could probably enjoy for about 30 minutes, an hour.
Do you know? I can see where you're coming from. I like the look of Deathloop. It was one of my favourite games that I saw out of all of E3 content last year. Deathloop looked really good, and every trailer that's come along has either made me go ooh or and a lot of people celebrated the last trailer in the PS5 game showcase, and for me that one kind of maybe put a bit more of a question in my head in terms of like the dying and restarting and going back, like Groundhog Day-ish element. That was a cool concept to me, but now I'm kind of like, hopefully I don't get lost in it, or hopefully it just doesn't get repetitive, because that's the point. Most people stop playing games, or I stop playing games when they become repetitive, when it's nothing new. When the game is built on being repetitive, I'm thinking, is that going to lose me?
Yeah.
It could be amazing.
Well, it's the same with the Ghostwire, though. The point I was trying to make was, are those two solid enough IPs to be able to warrant them looking at it differently, going, actually, the PlayStation exclusive thing, is it worth it, kind of thing? Because they're still going to remain PlayStation exclusive for the time being, because that's what they said, they're going to honour it. Elder Scrolls Online is still going to be honoured, so it's still going to be able to be played on the PlayStation. However, the rest of the franchises going forward are up in the air. We don't know until they start to market it as only on Xbox. Like asterisks, Xbox Game Pass for PC too.
Console.
Yeah.
Console exclusive.
It's very interesting to see how this can go. I think it can go either. For me, them selling their IPs to be able to be played on PlayStation is the right thing for them to do, not just from a PlayStation consumer like myself, but if you've got 111 PS4s out in the wild, and those people chances are they're going to be rebuying a PlayStation 5 at some point within the next 6 years.
If they can.
If they can get hold of them, yeah. It's a massive market for them to not bring games out for, especially considering, I think it was 46 million. I think the Nintendo Switch has actually outsold the Xbox now, which was kind of inevitable because it's a handheld hybrid, so you can dock it as well, and the AAA games that are coming over as well.
It's still mid-life cycle as opposed to at the end of the life cycle.
Yeah, so I think just that, I'm just pulling numbers out of the air. I'm sure there wasn't that many last time I saw, but we're going to say the Nintendo Switch has sold 49 million, the Xbox has sold 45, just for the sake of this argument. If you bought IPs and taken those IPs away from the biggest installed market currently available to you, that's a lot of money you're losing out for. 7.5 billion doesn't seem that much of a great deal now, because what are the chances? I mean, Jack upstairs has said he's just bought an Xbox as well, so he's going to have a PlayStation 5 and a brand new Xbox S. That he's got both consoles. He is their absolute demographic to be able to try and get these games. But for someone like me who's only getting a PlayStation 5 to start out with, they won't be getting my money unless these games come to the Xbox Game Pass for PC. So not having double your market not be available to be able to sell these games to kind of looks like a bad deal from the outset. Hopefully they're going to try and market these games differently so that they are actually going to be compatible for people who may have a console but also PC games, so they can try and take some of the money off those people. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting at least 2 years before they start to market these games, I think.
Yeah, I mean, another interesting thing to consider as well, $7.5 billion deals don't happen overnight. That is something that's been in discussions for months, possibly over a year. And if we go back over a year, Bethesda announced Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, which were PlayStation exclusives. So were Bethesda caught in PlayStation already, or were they just giving PlayStation some stuff because they were about to give Xbox everything else? So it's kind of an interesting situation. I mean, and why did Bethesda sell? Did they feel that they needed to sell? Is it literally they just got an offer? Is 7.5 billion such a good offer that they were like, okay, well, we had no plans to sell, but now 7.5 billion and we get access to everything that Xbox has, all of their distribution lines, all of their marketing, all of their first party placement and stuff like that comes with that. But yeah,
from the outside looking in though, I think $7.5 billion dollars in cash on the table right there right now is an offer that I don't think anyone would ever be able to turn down, including it could be sports teams, it could be media studios that create films. If someone was to try and buy the Avengers franchise, 7.5 billion, that's still a lot of money on paper. I don't know whether or not the Avengers is probably worth maybe more than that globally after all the films that they managed to bring out. That includes the sub stories like the Iron Mans and
Disney bought Marvel, which includes all of the Avengers and all of that stuff, for $4 billion.
Okay,
so half the price pretty much.
Yeah, so it's one of them things like. They either must have a lot of things in the pipeline to be able to come out, and it's like a 10-year plan, or Microsoft just thought we need a load of first-party stuff. Like, we need these to be our console exclusive. We know we don't have. This is such a horrible thing to say, especially if you are a Xbox fanboy. But Gears doesn't have the prestige that it used to have. Forza, I think, is clinging on by its fingernails, by its fingertips. Halo. People were fucking laughing at the last trailer that it came out. What have they got that separates them from everybody else? Like Nintendo, Super Mario, they've got Smash Brothers.
Stuff in the pipeline, but they've already said that it's going to be a couple of years before any of that sort of stuff hits. And even taking over Bethesda now, if they were to start on something new and exclusive, that's going to be a couple of years before that hits. So you kind of have to feel that there will be some sort of exclusivity. You kind of almost feel that if you're spending. Oh, we're disconnected.
Oh, we're back. You're back. Yeah.
Hey. So you kind of feel that.
Everyone left and then came back again.
Yes.
Welcome back.
If you're in the chat, say hello. Hey.
I'm just gonna go and check stuff and make sure it's not gonna ass over to.
Just while you do that, I will look back up and do the shouts. Morning, Mr. Gary Clark. How's things, dude? Chappers is in as well. I'll read. 24/7 Gaming Hub says ZeniMax Games has the potential to be market leaders. Absolutely. Someone is shouting out Unreal Tournament as well. Unreal Tournament was sick. At least you had Amstrad when I was there. It's Acorn. Do you know what? Acorn. That's actually the one that I meant. The one that was on the languages corridor. Acorns. Yeah, the Acorn.
Acorn?
Yeah. Get locked up.
Is it stream showing on your laptop? So it still says it's live over there.
Yeah, it looks good here. Iceman says, after the Fallout 76 debacle, Bethesda can't afford to burn any bridges right now. I mean, I suppose they can afford to burn everything. They've got $7.5 billion.
That money's going to be burning all in their pocket. In the old skyrocket.
Gary says, Game Pass has always been incredible value, but now having EA Play and Bethesda titles, as well as alongside first-party titles and some third-party games, is such a compelling service to sign up to. It's huge. And $7.5 billion is a mammoth amount of money. Yeah, you are getting some established titles
Double
in
the
there.
Avengers.
Yeah,
that can now be the bar. Thank you. You're welcome. That can now be the bar.
Like Avengers, the stat that came up there was that it was sold for $4 billion, but has already made 18 billion back. So stuff for
there you go.
But so that's it. They've spent 7.5 billion, but what will that earn them back? That's the thing. They're not just spending it to throw the money away. That will add to Game Pass sales. Yeah. That will add to all of the other bits that come into that. I will pause there for just a second. I'm going to jump in to the next article.
Which one we're rolling with?
Let's go.
To be fair, the Elder Scrolls one that I had in there, don't really need to cover that now because we pretty much just got into depth with that.
Let's jump into it anyway. Just to quickly roll through just for the exclusivity parts of it. Tell me when you're good to go.
Hey.
Bosh. Okay, next article that we'll jump into is that, sticking with Andy Robinson at VGC, Elder Scrolls Online will remain on PlayStation exactly as it was following the Xbox buyout. We fully expect it to keep growing and thriving. So we've touched on this already, but ZeniMax Online has claimed that its popular MMO, The Elder Scrolls Online, will continue to be supported exactly as it was on current platforms, including PS4, despite its sale to rival console firm Xbox. The studio's parent company, ZeniMax Media, is set to be acquired by Xbox in a $7.5 billion deal it announced on Monday. However, Xbox has said it will honour existing PlayStation agreements, including exclusivity deals for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. In its statement published following the acquisition news, ZeniMax Online said, "We fully expect Elder Scrolls Online to keep growing and thriving on each of the platforms that are currently supported. We want to take this moment to reassure the entire Elder Scrolls Online community that ESO will continue to be supported exactly as it was," wrote studio director Matt Firo. "We are very happy with the news and can't wait to see how the two companies working together can make ESO better for everyone," he added. "Thank you so much for being a part of the success story of ZOS and ESO, and rest assured in the knowledge that we are focused on supporting you for many more years to come." Okay, we'll just leave that one there. So this is the bit in terms of exclusivity. They've spent 7.5 billion. They want to turn their Marvel's Avengers 4 million into 18 million. The way that Marvel did that was by selling their products and merchandising their own things and pushing their own content out in their own strings. Would Disney buy Marvel and promote DC stuff around it? No. So you kind of feel that in some ways Microsoft have to do stuff with these titles that is exclusive to Xbox. Is it enough to just put them on Game Pass? I mean, Game Pass is massive right now, it's thriving, and that'll be the next article that we jump into. Game Pass is massive right now, thriving, but is Game Pass subscriptions enough to cover $7.5 billion over? I mean,
well, it's funny you should say that, Graham, because that's the title of the next article would suggest that a deeper dive will need to be done into it.
Let's have a look. So the next article. Xbox Game Pass subscribers jumped 50% to 15 million in less than 6 months. 50% increase in 6 months is huge. I believe it's now surpassed PS Now, hasn't it? Wasn't that like 12 million? It was PS Now was even though it's not the greatest service, it was hugely subscribed to, which nobody expected. And surely that's got to be ahead of that now. But yeah, Microsoft continues to grow its game subscription service. This is written by Tom Warren for The Verge, and the article says, Microsoft is revealing today that it now has 15 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers. That's up 50% from the 10 million the company previously disclosed back in April. Xbox Game Pass is a subscription service that offers a growing access to a growing selection of more than 100 Xbox games for $9.99 per month. Microsoft has been pushing Xbox Game Pass heavily in recent months, particularly ahead of its next-gen Xbox console hardware launches in November. Xbox Game Pass has started to feel like Microsoft's true next-gen approach, gearing the company up for a different Xbox Future, yeah, there we go. Xbox Game Pass has been bolstered recently by the addition of Bungie's Destiny 2 title, xCloud game streaming, and Microsoft's ZeniMax Media acquisition, the parent company of Doom and Fallout studio Bethesda Softworks. There is a variety of ways to blah 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 blah. Okay, we don't need to see that. But Xbox Game Pass has gone up by half, should I say, in how many months? 6 months. So in less than half a year, it's grown in half its size. That's incredible. And that's before the next generation hits, which surely that would be, if you get the new generation and you want access to all the games, that's when people are going to buy. So if there's 15 million now, I wouldn't be surprised to see 25 million by the end of the year.
Well, the likes of Jack upstairs, who's just bought his new Xbox, or his pre-ordered it, shall we say, has had an offer to have Xbox Game Pass for a year for 40% off. Because I think that was like a token that he got with it through ordering through Amazon, something along them lines. Anyway, if it's not a year, it's 6 months. I can't remember, but having the ability, like, don't forget we are still in the majority of the country is still in lockdown. Obviously, that's the reason why we have to set like this. So me and Graham are sat next to each other around our desk, but people haven't been able to leave the house, especially for the first 2 months. Since March to maybe May, people didn't leave the house. I would love to see how many people subscribe to Netflix, subscribe to Disney Plus, subscribe to PlayStation Now, subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, because I reckon the numbers on them must be astronomical. Like, the amount of people that would have just been like, I can't leave the fucking house, what am I going to do? Like, they can't go to the shop to go and buy a game. The game companies wasn't distributing any games. Amazon was the only company that I'm aware of that was still churning out games and delivering stuff to your door. That being able to get hold of this stuff would have been extremely difficult. However, get Xbox Game Pass for 3 months for £1. People are going to be taking that up. It doesn't tell you how much they've spent and how much they've made. They just said it's up 50%. 50% more people have gone in to try and get into Xbox. Could it have been for £1? Did they cancel it after the £1? Like, that's the thing that they're not showing us at the moment. They're just saying 15 million, and it's 50% up from the 10 million that was previously disclosed back in April. Is that because they've taken up the £1 offer, or is it that they're paying for the entire year £40 up front?
It doesn't say active concurrent monthly subscribers.
No.
15 million subscribers. That could be total. That could be anything. It could be just people that paid the quid. It could be everything thrown in one. We don't know.
Absolutely.
Oh, are we in search of followers, primes, and views? Get out of here! I don't know who banned
Chappers,
but get out.
It has to be.
Good man, Chappers.
You know, he's swinging that sword.
I love it because when an admin.
Nice one, mate.
Get that to fuckfish, man. I love it when a mod bans someone. There's a reason. A Chapper's reason, no.
You're not fucking having it. Ambidextrous says, morning lads, agree with Bibby regarding Deathloop. It looks great, but the reality of these games can be often be short lifespan. Looking forward to Project Athia though.
One of the most, if not the most successful PES players in history in the UK, that Dex, 3-time back-to-back UK champion there, just saying.
However, I do actually follow him on Instagram. That guy is never off the golf course. Do you know what I mean? That guy knows his way to my heart already. We could be best friends.
Dex, where are you anyway? Have you got PES 2021? Where are you in the Muscle Moose Cup? I mean, we've got tournaments that you could be signing up for and you know, schooling. Where are you? God, honestly, on the golf course. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's on the golf course, mate.
That's what he is. So yeah, it's rewinding and looping all that back together. Then Elder Scrolls Online exists and will still be on PlayStation, will still be supported. Microsoft's sales for Game Pass are massively increasing, up 50% in half a year, and we're on the eve. We're actually on the day of new consoles coming out, so that could see a massive spike again.
You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, absolutely. So that on top of Microsoft purchasing ZeniMax Media, so Doom, Bethesda, Fallout, all of Bethesda's games, Doom, Fallout, and everything else under that banner as well. It's interesting to see. Oh, there we go.
I shit myself and I clicked a button on here to go and bring up the next news article and the screen goes off.
It'd be interesting to see if Elder Scrolls is going to be supported because it exists. Minecraft on the PS4 was supported. and then not really supported. So I know that because I had Minecraft for when Chloe was little. It was pretty much the only thing she could play. Obviously now she's a full-on Fortnite god, but then that was it. It was crap. It was miles behind the Xbox stuff. I believe that changed, and I believe they either updated it or they had a new version or something. So now it's kind of cross parity experience. Maybe it was when cross-play came in, they added that level of support. So Microsoft have previous with letting their titles on PlayStation that they've purchased elsewhere. They've had previous of letting them die. So yeah, they're going to support Elder Scrolls, but are they going to support them fully? Will there be significant expansions that don't come out? Will they maintain what's there but not add future stuff? Or will it be a case of, okay, we'll support what's there because we have to, but anything new, we're going to say everything will remain as it was. That doesn't say anything about anything coming in the future.
Surely, like, again, it feels like we've churned on about Elder Scrolls Online, but it's like the title out of them lot that I'm still currently playing, do you know what I mean? But I'd like to know the player base for for the three platforms that it's on. So PC, PlayStation and Xbox. I started this and I grinded the shit out of it on PlayStation. Then I started watching other people's streams who was playing it on PC, and I was like, why am I not playing it on PC? They've got all the mods in there to be able to go into your inventory, show everything in a certain order. If you're trying to do all your quests, it shows them on your map so you know where you're going. It's not just a blow. So I've restarted the game again, and I'm even further ahead than I was on the PlayStation. I would like to know the player install base for Xbox, PlayStation and PC, because I imagine, and with it being an MMO, I'd hope that the PC was holding most of the player base, and the PlayStation and Xbox were just like the Xbox version was in Games Pass. I'm sure it still is in the Game Pass, so you don't even have to pay for it. To buy Tamriel, the first one for it, it's about £5 regardless of what console you get it on. So there's your entry barrier. Your barrier for entry is extremely low. I don't know how many people are playing this still on console. So if it's dying on PlayStation, will they let it die? Is essentially what you're saying. I think it's a lot easier to let die if the install base is extremely low on PlayStation, because eventually they can just turn the servers off.
It's like it's almost like a new partner. So Bethesda have just got a new partner, and Bethesda's brought its kids with it, which are the PlayStation bits. And the new partner's like, yeah, I'll look after you, till you're old enough to leave home, and then you're on your own then, kind of. It's almost that sort of like, probably a shit, horrible analogy there. Fuck you, bad stepdad Xbox. But no, it's like, okay, we have a duty of care. We have to support what's there. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll do anything going forward. And the wording particularly, Elder Scrolls Online will remain exactly as it was.
Yeah.
So nothing that's there will be broken, but didn't say anything about the future. And it's like, it doesn't say Elder Scrolls Online will continue to thrive on PlayStation. We will maintain the status quo of what's there, because that's the minimum that you'd expect of the game that you purchased.
Well, the Skyrim expansion is apparently coming to an end soon, which makes me think that they've already got one in the hole to come out at some point. Whether or not that now is going to be on the PlayStation, they might just say the only way that you can play it is through the launcher.
Fuck! I don't know if you can still hear us. We're still here.
Yeah, the thing's still going up.
I may have bashed the Stream Deck. It's fine.
Like, whether or not they're still gonna continue with the expansions on the PlayStation is yet to be seen. Like, I play mine on Steam, so I have a Steam launcher on there. What does that mean going forward? Does it mean that I'm not going to be playable on Steam? Am I going to have to use an Xbox launcher? Is it going to have to move over? I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully it's a merger that comes with very little unrest in terms of, if you have to play it through Xbox launchers and things like that, hopefully that's stuff that's easy, and anything that's there right now continues as it is. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see something. I mean, I would be surprised if we do see Xbox going, okay, Elder Scrolls only on Xbox, or I'd be less surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was only on Xbox for a month, for 6 months. We've had that in the past. I would be surprised if it happens completely though, because of the stance that they've had. But it's business, so your stance changes.
Absolutely.
Xbox were all for exclusives, and then they weren't for exclusives. They could just as easily change back to exclusives because PlayStation have done the same with Spider-Man and co. And it shows you just how powerful it is to have those games. If Xbox are saying that they aren't interested in any exclusivities because it's bad for consumers, and they were pushing for cross-play when PlayStation weren't because it's good for consumers, they're saying having a happy, open, united market that you don't even need to have the latest console on is the way to go. But yet, they're buying and announcing this deal one day before the consoles go on sale. They want to sell consoles.
Yeah.
They want you to play on PlayStation, and they want to own games that they can make just come out on their consoles. Exclusivity is still where the market is.
Absolutely.
If you own the market, you own the market. It's as simple as that. If you own all of the games, then no one can compete. So yeah, I love the sentiment of where Phil Spencer has been coming from, but when you have things like this happen, it makes you realise that video gaming is business. We've said this all along. There's business, and then there's ideology. Business is we make money. The ideology is I want to provide you the best service ever. And you kind of have the balance of, okay, the ideals versus the reality. The reality is we need to sell enough to make money. And if we don't make the money, we can't do it again. The ideal is we just want you to have the best experience possible. The best experience costs money, too much money, so you're not having the best experience. You're having the mid experience. And that's the trade-off that you get in business versus video games. So Xbox have been preaching the ideal. We want all the lovely, nice stuff, but whilst also making a very expensive acquisition. So doesn't necessarily mean they can't give us that. I would absolutely love for them to continue to give us the best experiences. But, yeah, it absolutely could be a case of the experiences that we get could be timed exclusives, could be console exclusives, could have exclusive additional content, or it could just be fully open. And if it is the latter, then they're placing a lot of eggs in the basket of, it'll cost you 40 quid on PlayStation, it's free on Game Pass. Cost you 50 quid, 60 quid, 70 quid on PlayStation, free on Game Pass, and that's where they get the benefit of exclusivity. You've not got exclusive content, but you've got an exclusive pricing structure.
Yeah.
If you want to sell it PlayStation, yeah, fine. It's going to cost you 75 quid for whatever everything is. It's free on that one. So, yeah.
Interesting.
You will still be able to get stuff on PlayStation, I expect. I reckon it's more the latter, but 'tis what 'tis. Let's move ahead. We have one slight little tangent. So we're going to move away from the Xbox and the Bethesda situation. If you are late in, hello everyone that's been in the stream as well. There's been quite a lot of you through here. Despite me throwing the stream deck and turning things off, hopefully it still works. But yeah, one separate little bit of news. The news that we have been covering so far is that Xbox has bought ZeniMax Media. We were actually streaming Masters of the League yesterday, and we had a message from Jordan, our resident Xbox expert. But because we were distracted on stream and he had typos in it, we had a message saying Zen IMAX.
No, iMac. Zen iMac.
Zen iMac, that's it.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, has Apple brought something out that's like Xbox have just started to go in partnership with?
We were
like, what the fuck is this?
I'm thinking Zen screen. Asus Zen screen is a type of monitor. So is this some sort of like iMac monitor screen that Apple are they going into screens?
Yeah, do you remember the Zen MP3 players back in the day? It
Creative
was like,
Zen.
Yeah, Creative Zen. I was like, they're bringing them back, baby! Oh no, it was just a typo and I fucked it up.
It's only one of the biggest media organisations in the world. Fine. Anyway, let's jump back into the news. The next news, no longer on the Bethesda situation, is about normality-ish coming back, as BlizzCon is coming back for an online event in February. So not the physical event that it has been previously, but an online event in February written by Andy Chalk for PC Gamer. The article says, the online showcase will include art and digital storytelling contests, a cosplay exhibition, and the March of the Murlocs. So Blizzard cancelled BlizzCon in 2020 in May, saying that ongoing COVID-19 pandemic made the traditional weekend-long party impossible to hold safely. But it also committed to an online event in 2021 that would channel the BlizzCon spirit. And today it confirmed that BlizzCon Line. Wow, I didn't read that. Well, BlizzCon Line. I was like, BlizzCon Online?
Yeah, it's the capital C kind of threw me there as well when I'm reading it.
Although that's just based. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm not necessarily a fan of brands just going, let's just merge things together and take off a couple of letters. So yeah. Today it confirmed that BlizzCon Line will take place from February 19th to 20th, 2021. So BlizzCon Line will feature a community showcase of work from cosplay crafters, artists, and other community creators, with an art contest and, for aspiring filmmakers, a digital storytelling contest offering cash prizes and tickets to the next BlizzCon, the next live BlizzCon event for the top 3 entries in each. Imagine winning tickets to the next BlizzCon live event and it not happening until like 2027. Fuck this shit, I'm out. A virtual March of the Murlocs will take place. I don't know what March of the Murlocs is, so if anyone knows what that is, please feel free to.
I'm sure a Murloc is something that's in World of Warcraft. Now I apologise if there is any wowers in here, and I've got that completely wrong, but I'm fairly certain it is.
So is that like a bunch of people in cosplay just strolling through the convention?
I imagine so.
How do you do that online?
Well, I'm about to say, it's not like it's the Imperial March. It's not going to be like that, is it?
So a virtual March of the Murlocs will take place, and of course the BlizzCon cosplay exhibition and contest will return in online format, with awards in 4 categories and an overall best cosplay winner chosen from among them. So they will have Best Blizzard Character, recognising outstanding interpretations of iconic heroes and villains from the world of Diablo, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, StarCraft and Warcraft. The Best Blizzard Weapons and Armour, do you know what, I'm going to just read the title. The Best Modern Creation, and the Best Traditional Creation. Modern is 3D printing, electronics, and traditional is using leather, wood, and so on. There will also be a more open-ended talent spotlight, which encourages individuals or groups to show off their special talent, unless that talent is speaking out against the Chinese government, then they're not having any of that one. Musical, physical, magical, whimsical, or otherwise. Blizzard said examples could include, but are not limited to, a reenactment of a scene, a sketch, stand-up comedy, a dance routine, acrobatics, or an instrumental or vocal musical performance. The only restrictions are that it must be either a Blizzard composition or something completely original, that it run no longer than 3 minutes, and that it contain no explicit or obscene language. The details are still being hammered out, but at least now we have confirmation that it's happening and when. If you're interested in taking part in any of the events or competitions, full rules and registration links are up at blizzcon.com. So, horrible name, BlizzCon line. Could you see yourself in the BlizzCon line?
The only game that I would remotely, like, I did really enjoy Diablo, but that is pretty much it. Overwatch is okay. Again, terrible at it, those kind of games. But to be fair, I was reading this article, as I'm reading for this article, Metro Exodus was being played on the screen at the same time, which I was really enjoying. I haven't played that. I played the first one, scared the shit out of me. I haven't played this Exodus one, but it looks great.
Metro Exodus is a phenomenal looking game. It's so good that it's often used in benchmark sort of videos. In terms of it can push even the best PCs. Playing it at max res stuff, it's almost like a what's it called? The game that breaks PCs. Crisis. It's almost like a Crisis in kind of ways. I remember when we first, because we've worked with Koch Media in the UK and across Europe many times, and we do actually. So when we covered Metro Last Light, I think it was, and that launching, it was when Mark had just got his like 3 monitor PC kind of stuff, and I was like still in console world then. So seeing Mark's like 3 PC rendered like full spec kind of graphics, it was like this incredible. This is incredible. So yeah, go to BlizzCon and play Metro Exodus.
Yeah, but yeah, the BlizzCon stuff, it isn't for me. It's I don't want to say I've never cosplayed, because clearly I have at some point.
Yeah, Stag Do, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the biggest one of them all. But yeah, like Hearthstone, never played it. Heroes of the Storm, never played it. I know Jordan was massively into Heroes of the Storm. Overwatch, StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo. Big fan of Diablo. Love Diablo. But yeah, I mean, it's the one thing the reason I included it in this in the first place is because it's going to be hopefully a success online. Now, I don't want them to obviously take this. We've spoke about this with the likes of Gamescom and E3 and what they can do potentially next year if it happens again that we don't end up going to these events. So if this is a step in the right direction to try and get people to be able to enjoy an event again, regardless of whether or not you have to be sat in your front room or wherever it's going to be. People love to cosplay. Some people do it as a job. So the fact that they haven't been able to do that this year is a bit of a kick in the teeth.
I cosplay as someone that knows what they're doing in the games industry. I've been doing it for like years, and people still haven't noticed.
Why do you think I still wear flowery shirts? I want to stand out. Do you know what I mean? So this is cosplaying as someone who, again, doesn't know what he's doing but wants to stand out.
We cosplay as games that Asim's worked on. Sniper Ghost Warrior contracts.
PGA 2K.
We got you, Asim.
I'm a walking we're walking marketers. I see what he's doing.
So yeah, if you want your games to feature on the scoop, just send us.
Oh, God's sake, he's got it right in the palm of his hand.
#ad. Yeah, no, it's nice that it's back. Once again, it's not an event that resonates with me. Warcraft, Overwatch, Hearthstone, Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm. Not played, and probably won't really play any of them. The one that will kind of get my attention more than the others is Overwatch, because it's probably a bit more mainstream. Not that they're not mainstream. That in terms of games mainstream, they're huge. But in terms of,
I know you'd hate Warcraft.
Yeah, I know I'd hate Warcraft. But in terms of casual,
Diablo's good. Have you ever played a dungeon crawler?
Not for many years. It's not my kind of thing.
Yeah, big fan of it. Like the Diablo 3 on PC, played the shit out of that with Mike and Willis. That is like, you can play that forever. It's really good game. But again, it's games that I like.
Does it have level 3 helmets?
No, it has like level 99 helmets. It's a little bit better.
You're a level 99 helmet.
So again, if you're weighing that up, it's 97 levels better.
No, well there you go. Fuck you, PUBG. I'm out. So yeah, the games don't interest me. I like the idea that they have committed to next year, and I say next year, we are basically 4 months away, and it's 5 months away, because we're at the end of September, and it's in February, so obviously October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. 5 months away from that. 5 months is not going to be a world that is free of the pandemic.
No, I agree.
So it's
we've got a second lockdown looming, especially like in the northwest and the northeast. It's two of the places that have been seen a massive spike in numbers, so at least around our neck of the woods it's going tits up again, so the chances are there's going to be a lockdown too. We've got a 10 PM curfew that's meant to be instilled as of Thursday, so yeah, the pandemic isn't going to be clearing up anytime soon. People aren't allowed around to your house again, you're not allowed in the back garden, so we are going backwards. So I agree. I think we're going to be like this for the next 7 to 8 months. I'll be very, very surprised if E3 goes ahead next year, regardless of whether or not they kill it themselves or COVID takes over.
I expect the same. I would fully expect E3, if it happens, and Gamescom to be fully digital again next year. The ESA, if they haven't been spending this last 6-7 months putting plans in place, actually before that, because we started having the conversations about E3, whether that would or wouldn't happen in January. If they haven't been spending the last 9 to 10 months going through and putting stuff, well, clearly they haven't, because they didn't even realise they were cancelling E3 until after everything else had been cancelled. But the ESA should be full on into how they can turn E3 into something bigger and better than Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest was good in the amount of content that came out, but it was monotonous in delivery. It was, oh look, I'm sat in a room talking about games, and the next day I'm sat in a room talking about games, and the next day I'm sat in a room. And it's like, okay, I know you're doing that, and I know there's some really good stuff in there, but this is the 6th or 7th day. I don't have that much of my life to give to video games. I mean, most people don't. Some people do. Most people don't. And then when you've got that, and you've got the PlayStation stuff happening, and you've got the Xbox stuff happening, and the UB Forwards happening, and you're just like, okay, Summer Game Fest, the concept is good, but there's a reason why the stats came out saying that big brands don't need E3, little brands do. PlayStation got more viewers on its own content than it did going through E3, whereas the littler brands, they need E3 to get that sort of column inches and stuff, and I think Summer Game Fest just allowed people to see how much stuff is there, but how much of a commitment you'd have to put in to see it all without something like E3. So yeah, having Blizzard coming back with BlizzConline, despite being a horrendous name, I'm just going to say that once again, BlizzConline, don't merge things to that level. My God, a conline is a row of criminals. So this is the BlizzConline. This is like, was it all the executives or whatever, all the people that fucking. Yeah. So yeah, I like the fact they're planning for it. It's forward thinking. They're getting ahead of the curve. Hopefully, can do it in a way that's better than just being sat in a room and talking to cameras for the sake of talking to the cameras. Hopefully it's a proper celebration, and hopefully it kicks off other brands committing to their plans for the next year as well. I mean, obviously loads of people sat waiting to see how it goes, but I would expect all next year's stuff to be online again, so hopefully people start releasing it.
Yeah, man.
Jumping back through the chat, Dex did say, I'm a bit out of the loop, been grinding Warzone. It's a good game to grind, especially with Cold War coming. Do you know, I might jump back into that at some point soon. I say that, I probably won't. Might jump back into it since Season 1, and I've not been back into it since.
Season 6 now.
Yeah. Complete different game now. Chapper says it's back on level terms now, I think. I'm assuming that was Minecraft when we're saying, will Elder Scrolls will remain as it was. That was kind of the expectation for Minecraft, which then wasn't, but then is as good now on the PlayStation. So if they can do that with Minecraft, fine. But Minecraft is no, I suppose Minecraft and Elder Scrolls, I would say Minecraft is a different concept because it's so big, but Elder Scrolls is massive. I even saw conversations last night when people were talking about the Bethesda acquisition. People were saying they've bought the Elder Scrolls, and it's like, oh no, actually, maybe I'm getting this wrong. Is the Elder Scrolls a Skyrim game, or is Skyrim an Elder Scrolls game?
No, so Skyrim is one part of the Elder Scrolls.
That's it. So yeah, yesterday people were saying, there was loads of comments saying Microsoft have bought Skyrim, and everyone's like, actually, Microsoft have bought the Elder Scrolls. It's like, yeah, but most people only know of Skyrim kind of thing, or whichever one is.
I'd say people are saying that obviously don't know the concept of the Elder Scrolls, do they? Because it's like the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Yeah, so like everyone's going. There was like not everyone. There was a lot of conversation around that saying, well, they've not just bought Skyrim, they've bought the Elder Scrolls. It's like, yeah, but I know of the Elder Scrolls because of Skyrim, kind of thing. And yeah, I was about to say that Minecraft is different because Minecraft is so huge that they kind of almost they'd be foolish not to maintain an audience base that is there. But the same thing can be said for the Elder Scrolls, because I mean, just using Bibby, they've sold 27,000 copies of the game.
As I said before, I'll be very, very, very surprised if this becomes a console / Game Pass exclusive. I'll be very, very surprised. I can't see it. However, Morrowind, that came out on the original Xbox, the Xbox One, not the Xbox One that came out recently, the original classic big fat Xbox, Morrowind came out on that. It didn't come out on anything apart from the PC. So they have got form to be able to do that, but the Elder Scrolls is a completely different beast now.
Different market, different times.
And we're going back, 19 years ago when the original Xbox came out, so yeah, 19 years is a long time to be able to change people's minds, and obviously a lot of money.
Well, the wording from that, the only wording that we have to go off is the tagline, is we fully expect it to keep growing and thriving, which has some good words. We expect it to keep growing and thriving. Oh, nice. Growing is development, is more to come in the future. We fully expect is not a committal. It's not saying it is. We expect it to, but it might not. So I expect the same as Bib. I expect Elder Scrolls, Doom, and Fallout, Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Starfield, even within Prey. I expect all of those to come out.
Quake,
multi-platform. Quake. I mean, Quake has been away, so I could see things that have been away being the ones that become Xbox exclusive.
Well,
but
yeah.
But definitely the ones that maintain, I definitely think we will see those on PlayStation.
I'd love to see a new
But the caveat is, do you want to spend £70 for that, or do you want it free on Game Pass? Because I mean, you can spend £70 if you want, but next month we'll have another game coming out, and then the month after another one. So that's £210 that you could spend on 3 games. Or you could just buy the Xbox for $250 and you can get them all for free.
Ooh. That's the enticing thing in it. I mean, the Quake was only listed there in text only. It wasn't part of the advert of them acquiring. So I don't think they've got any plans for that. But my God, I'd fucking love a new Quake. That would be sweaty.
Sweaty, eh? Just trying to have a look through. I couldn't see the list of Quake. Was that on this one? That just lists the studios.
This camera angle and chair do absolutely nothing for my tyres.
Yeah.
I've got a boob crease going on right here. It's just like a proper definition, like down.
Oh. I mean, there's nothing for my posture, because we have posture check as a command, but like, I can go from slouching to sitting up. Nothing happens.
It's like I'm like, my posture's okay.
Man, shit.
But I need to like sit forward or something like I'm hosting something like this. I have no titty crease as I lean forward like this, so I could be very wooden. Hi and welcome to Ice Cream Uploads. That would probably benefit my non-titty crease.
If you want to see how awkward this is, it doesn't look as bad from that angle, but
This is so, yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me. Get back to being comfortable again.
let's go full on like, yeah, well, Venus. TOS! TOS-ticles. Anyway, that's enough of that. Quake, live forever.
Exactly. Like, everyone, I'd love to see Quake come back. Unreal Tournament is free on Epic Games Store, and it has been forever, so if you want to get a bit of nostalgia, you can go and download that. It is well hard. Like, it's so much faster than I ever remember it being, but fantastic game.
Is that were you streaming that not so long?
Yeah. I thought I'll show the people what they're missing, and then I was like, this is well hard.
I remember, like, you turned it on and you smoked someone, and you smoked someone again. I was like, fuck, Bibby's got this, and then it changed.
Yeah, it just went downhill.
The guy's like, I know your game. Game over. Anyway, speaking of game over, this is game over for us as well. Thank you everyone for joining us in the stream today. Gagad says, surely console players are just kids that haven't grown up. Real players use PCs, don't they?
Well, I have them both, so...
Same. Speaking of PCs, hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's pretty likely that Team Ice Cream / Jelly Media is going to be in the special effect Chicken for Charity showdown this Friday as well. So if anyone does watch PUBG and wants to see some charitable stuff, then Team Jelly / Ice Cream could potentially be in the Chicken for Charity showdown. If we do get all of that booked in, you will see tweets going out later on Jelly Media, so at Jelly Media social media, and at Ice Cream Upload social media. Another thing to mention as well is if you want to play some tournaments for yourself and you have a copy of PES 2021, the Muscle Moose Cup is underway. We are over halfway through. Oh no, we're actually halfway through now.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 qualifiers done, 4 qualifiers remain. So we have a tournament each day at 7 p.m. So today, tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. So there's 4 more left. Each tournament taking place at 7 p.m. Whoever wins that will qualify for the grand final next Wednesday live on the Twitch front page. So if you want to play some PES, you want to play in tournaments against other people that aren't going to be nasty, sweaty cheaters and long ball, dirtbag kickoff merchants, then get involved. Get involved. Doesn't cost you anything. You can win some prizes and get some exposure on Twitch for doing it. Nice. Asman says, real players don't care about the platform. No one to get one by. Ooh, fight. But yeah, shout out to the PC Master Race. Shout out to the PlayStation as well, just to keep it quiet. And all of the Xbox guys and the Switches at the back say hello. Anyway, before we disappear, I can say it in person. Bib, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, there is. If you do see any video game news that you want to hear our thoughts and impressions on, but you also want to voice yours, there's 2 ways you can do that. Is chatbot. I did activate chatbot, but I haven't seen it kick out any links. Anyway, it's at Ice Cream Uploads across every single social media platform. Our major social media platform. The links are there for you in the chat. But also, if you are in our Discord, then please drop us a link in there. There's a little section called The Scoop. Head over there, drop the link, your thoughts and impressions. We will then give our thoughts and impressions from our households tomorrow. At what time, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. Ish. No additional stream today. Usually, you may have got used to us doing Tuesdays and Thursdays for PUBG, but while we're in the studio, we have things to do, so no secondary stream today, unless we do something later on tonight. You never know. The way to be to find out whenever we do stream is to follow the channel. That way you will be notified whenever we go live. And now I'm going to pad while I find out where the end bit is.
I'm going to go over to that PC over there just in case it doesn't decide to end. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. I will see you tomorrow at the very least.
And I'm going to say our sign-off words, and hopefully don't just sit here awkwardly until Bobby signs it off. So have yourselves a good day, and stay frosty.